All right, everyone, we are live. It is, again, Sunday, July 3rd, 2022. This is the MMAOB Daily Podcast, the second of two podcasts on your Sunday morning. We'll be previewing UFC Vegas 58, Dos Anjos for Fiziev. Marcel, looking forward to talking about this with you. Marcel, how's everything going? I mean, I just talked to you a few minutes ago, but you're looking forward to this card? I mean, on paper, it's not bad. What do you think?
Yeah, man. What's up? Long time no see. Yeah, it's a fun. I think it's a good card. I think the bout order is a little bit weird. Because in my opinion, probably one of the best fights is opening the prelims. But yeah, overall, I'm looking forward to it. It's still late again. It's only 1 hour earlier than this weekend's card. So I don't understand that, man. I'm not happy with that. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'll always watch. That even. Listen, dude, even if the card sucks on paper, I will watch it, but this card doesn't suck on paper, so I'll watch it for sure.
Absolutely. So we're breaking down all 12 fights in the card. One fight did get scratched yesterday. David Onama versus Austin Lingo's off the card. Marcel, do you have any updates on that fight or what could happen?
The only thing I got told is that they want to keep David Onama on the card, but there is no opponent yet. So we'll have to wait. Maybe let's hope he gets an opponent, because it would be the second time in a row that he's been taken off a card because his opponent can't make it. So yeah.
So my thoughts on this one are: I loved Onama in that matchup. He was minus 300 about, and I think that was, looking right now, he's minus 290. That was honestly low. I think he should have been like minus 400 or 500 in this fight against Lingo. I think he would have won for sure. I was planning on putting him in a parlay or something more, so I really liked him in this fight, but he's off the card. I doubt he'll get an opponent, because I don't think anyone on the UFC roster would sign up to fight this guy. He's so good. Maybe someone outside the UFC would use this as an opportunity to get in, maybe. But I feel like they're going to move him, Marcel. That's what I think, because they already have 12 fights in the card. I think they'll move it to another card, which sucks, but I just don't think anyone's going to sign up to fight this guy at short notice, because he's so dangerous. So that's my thoughts. George, love the Sunday preview show on time. George, we appreciate you, man. Thanks. Per circle for an. I mean, I hope he gets on, but I just don't see it, man. I don't know, Marcel. What's your gut instinct telling you here?
What's the question? I just didn't call it. The last part, what you said.
What's your gut instinct saying about him staying on the card or not? Because I don't think it's going to happen.
It depends, I think if they give somebody a contract outside the organization, somebody will definitely take it, But, for example, remember when Damon Jackson needed a fighter and they found Daniel Argueda, Something like that,
That's fair. Maybe someone from a lower weight class could move up and fight him, possibly like a bantamweight or whatever. Even though he's kind of he's a big featherweight. He's fought lightweight Mason Jones. All right, let's get into the preview here, guys. We got 12 fights on deck, Marcel. Start off with Ronnie Lawrence against Saidyokub Kakhramonov in the bantamweight division. Crazy this fight's opening on the prelims, because I think it should be opening the main card, if anything. This is one of the best fights in the card. Right now, it's very close odds, Marcel. Minus 120 for Ronnie to heat Lawrence, plus 100 for Saidyokub Kakhramonov. Give me your pick in this one, man. It's a great fight.
It's like hella disrespectful that this opening the prelims. This is a fight between two guys are really good, in my opinion. Saidyokub Kakhramonov taking that short notice fight against Trevin Jones. Got the win with a submission. Didn't got a bonus because he missed weight, but it was short notice, so I'll forgive him for that. Overall, good fighter. Many people knew him for fighting Umar Nurmagomedov in PFL. Remember, he lost there, but still. Also fought at CFFC. I think he was a champion there at CFFC, right? So I think he only fought once there, maybe twice. I can be wrong. I think he only fought once there, but he was a champion there. If you look at Ronnie Lawrence, man, I've been impressed with him since the Contender Series. Guy is really good. Trains at Sanford right now, so he's going places as well. Last fight against Mana Martinez, easy first 2 rounds for him, but the third round he almost got finished, against Mana, and still managed to keep in the fight and won the fight. Man, I mean, both guys have a good future in front of them. I'm still going with Ronnie Lawrence, to be really honest. I think he manages to win here. I'm going with a decision win for Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, this fight's incredible. I think both guys I'm very high on both guys. Lawrence is such a good wrestler. In his 2 UFC fights, he has 14 takedowns, and then if you count the one in Contender Series, he has 26 takedowns in his last 3 fights. That's insane. The last fight with Mana Martinez was an absolute war. He got dropped a couple times. He also dropped the other guy 3 times against the guy everyone was saying was such a good striker. I'm very high on this guy. Again, Marcel, another guy who trains at Kill Cliff FC. We love that gym. He's really good, Marcel. Saidyokub's really good too, though. And again, getting that win over Trevin Jones on short notice, You would have got a bonus had he not missed weight, but again, he took it on like 2 days' notice, flew in from another country to take that fight. Very impressive win, getting that submission. I'm high on both guys, but I mean, like with Ronnie Lawrence, it's just the ability to take the fight to the ground, Marcel, and also the improved stand-up. I have to lean his way as well. I do think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think it goes the distance as well, but I do like Ronnie Lawrence to kick off the card as well, Marcel. So we're on the same page with the first fight of the night. So it should be a good fight.
That Killcliff FC, is that official?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. They got signed a new sponsorship. All right, let's get to the next fight here, Marcel. Kennedy Nzechukwu against Karl Roberson in the light heavyweight division. And the odds for this one, it's basically a pick on Marcel minus 110 each. So what's your thoughts? It's a close fight on paper. What do you think?
I really have a bad read on this fight, to be really honest. I think Kennedy and Nzechukwu, I feel like he did more against Nico Mariano last time out. So he lost that fight, but in my opinion, really didn't lose. Karl Roberson is a guy, like, I don't know what to really think about him. I remember you picking him against Roman Kopylov back then, I think, and he won. I didn't saw it really, but after that, 3 straight losses, didn't look good in those fights at all. I have no way in picking Roberson here. You know what I mean? I think Nzechukwu also has more power. Probably he's. I think he is. Maybe I don't know if he's taller, but he seems to me like a bigger guy. You know what I mean? His frame is bigger than Roberson, in my opinion. I'm taking Nzechukwu here, and it can either be a hit or a miss. It can be a boring decision, or he finishes him. And I think he finishes him. I'm going with a TKO win in the second round for Kennedy.
Oh, he's definitely bigger, Marcel. He's 6'5" to 6'1", so he's got 4-inch height. And then the reach, 83 to 74. So, I mean, that's a pretty big height and reach advantage here. And he uses his range pretty well, too. I mean, he's a tough dude, obviously a big guy. The last fight, Marcel, it could have went either way, honestly. Like, he could have a win on his record. He's been kind of hit or miss in the UFC. He's one of these guys that, like, is often losing a fight until he comes back and wins, which is kind of scary to bet on, honestly, Marcel. Like, you almost expect him to take damage early and then maybe turn it around and come back. It's kind of scary to bet on a guy like that. But Karl Roberson just has not impressed me. Honestly, the only fight that impressed me was the Kopylov fight on Marcel, and I guess the Darren Stewart fight. That was 5 years ago now, but the Kopylov fight, because I think he got really badly poked in the eye in that fight, if I'm not mistaken, and then he like jumped on the guy's back with a minute left. Like he didn't even have to continue; he wanted to, and then finish the guy. That to me was very impressive. That was the last time Zabit fought. That's how long ago that fight was, though. Marcel, that was 3 years ago almost. Since then, hasn't looked good at all. Coming off a brutal knockout loss to Khalil Roundtree. Most of his losses are by sub. He is a former Glory kickboxer, Marcel, so he is a good striker, but didn't look good in his last fight at all. I know Roundtree obviously a more devastating striker, but I don't know, Marcel. I just can't pick a guy coming off 3 straight finishes, like losses. Like it's just hard to pick that guy. So even though Kennedy hasn't looked great at all, in my opinion, lately either, I still lean towards him. So Marcel, we actually have the same. We have the same pick here, Marcel. We're going to go with Kennedy and Nzechukwu. I think he could finish him, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went the distance either. But that's my slight lean here. It's not like it's. Again, I'm not running to the bank to pick him, to bet on him, if that makes sense. But I am going to pick him to win the fight. I think he should, he should be slightly favored, like very, very slightly. So George is talking about the new scoring system. Doesn't favor Ronnie's takedown, no damage, 0 takedowns yesterday, by the way. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. But honestly, like Ronnie's takedown, I mean, he works too on the ground, though. He's moving position. Like he's going to a better position. And I think at the end of the day, like if you take a guy down that many times, it will stick in the mind of the judges. I know you're saying that, George. Like Saidyokub's really good, man. Don't get me wrong. He's very good. And he actually has good takedown defense. So it's going to be a good fight. But yeah. All right, let's get to the next fight here, Marcel. The next one is a middleweight bout between Cody, Brundage, and Tresean Gore. And the odds for this one, again, Marcel, very close. It's a pick of minus 110 each, Marcel. So another very close fight according to the odds makers. Who's your pick in this one?
Yeah, man, this is a difficult one in my opinion. Everybody was super high on Tresean Gore. Remember, coming after the Ultimate Fighter. He didn't really look good against Brian Battle, man. If you look at Cody Brundage, got a performance bonus in the last fight. Was kind of completely dominated by Lunjambula. And then I don't know where I got the guillotine choke and got the win. Before that, Nick Maximov got the third round win, but first and second round he lost, so we lost the decision. Brundage kind of a hit or miss, man, in my opinion. Sometimes he looks really good, and sometimes I'm like, not really. Tresean Gore looked good at the Ultimate Fighter, but what does that really say? I still don't know because the battle fight wasn't great in my opinion at all. This can go both ways in my opinion. I'm not comfortable with picking either one of them, to be really honest. But if I go with my gut feeling, I'm taking Brundage with a late submission again, third round.
There you go. Yeah, this is a very tough fight to pick. I think both guys just are flawed. Brundage, Marcel, he looked pretty bad against William Knight on Contender, got finished there. Even the last fight, I watched it again the other day. Like the guillotine was nasty. There's no doubt about it. But like he was getting tooled really. The Maximov fight wasn't great either. I mean, the guy's very hit or miss, like you said. Tresean Gore, not a lot of experience here, coming off the loss to Battle. It was somewhat competitive, Marcel. It was 29-28. It's not like he got blown out of the water, like it was competitive. Obviously looked great on the show. I think he's got some potential, Marcel. Honestly, my initial thoughts on this fight, I was leaning towards Brundage, but thinking about it a little bit more, I think Gore has a little bit more potential, Marcel, a little bit more untapped potential in the sport. And I think it's a fight he can win. So I'm not like super confident again by any means, and the odds are very close for a reason. But I guess I'm going to switch picks on you here, Marcel. I'm going to lean towards Gore to maybe finish Brundage. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. But man, it's just a really weird fight. Like it's just a hard fight to pick, Marcel.
Yeah.
Honestly, like they're both flawed fighters. There's not a lot to go by. They both don't have a ton of experience in the UFC. Brundage is probably the better wrestler on paper. I get it, but Gore does have good takedown defense, and I think he's the better striker, and that's why I'm going to pick him here. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking in this one, Marcel. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. We have Antonina Shevchenko against Courtney Casey in the women's flyweight division, Marcel. So interesting fight here. What do you think about the odds in this one, Marcel? Right now, Antonina is the favorite. She is minus 175, Courtney Casey plus 155. What do you think about those odds, and who's your pick?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the dog money here, man, to be really honest, because Antonina Shevchenko, she got her name with her, but that's pretty much it, in my opinion. She got some okay Muay Thai. I think many people thought for a long time that she was like maybe as good as Valentina. I saw many people saying that, like she can be the next big thing. I don't see it, for Courtney Casey is losing a lot of fights as well, but she's always in close fights 9 out of 10 times, and she loses close fights. I think Courtney Casey is smart here, and she grapples with Antonina, taking her down, winning a decision.
Yeah, so, with this fight, like again, Marcel, we've seen a trend lately with these lower level women's fights. The underdog has won a lot of these fights lately, and I actually like Courtney Casey in this fight decent amount. I think she should be favored to win the fight. I don't get the line. I mean, I guess it's because of the hype on her last name, but to me, this is kind of like a closer fight, and I honestly favor Casey a little bit to win the fight. More UFC experience. I think she's fought better competition throughout her career. She is coming off, not an amazing win by any means, but she got the win. And a lot of her losses, Marcel, are split decision losses. Like she's fought the best of the best, and it's always in there. Very tough to finish. I don't think she's ever been knocked out, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, Antonina's going to have a hard time finishing her with strikes. Antonina could win, I guess, if the fight stays standing and she kind of keeps her range and kickboxes her, maybe. But I just think Antonina coming off 2 straight losses on the ground, Marcel, her ground game's terrible. Courtney Casey should fight smart here and take her to the ground. I mean, that's the best way to win. She's not an amazing wrestler, but she's not too bad. If she can get the fight to the ground. And even on the feet, Marcel, she could be competitive here, just throwing volume. I think it's a competitive fight, but I lean towards the dog to win the fight. So I'm with you, Marcel. I'm going to take the plus 155 as well. So we're on that. Is this a loser leaves town matchup? I think so. Honestly, I think so. I think they're both fighting for their job probably. Even though Casey won her last fight, I still think she's kind of 500 in the UFC. But I'm with you, Marcel. We both have the same pick. And he asked a question about someone on Dana White Contender Series, but I mean, I don't know who that guy is. Sorry, I apologize. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. We got Ricky Turcios against Aiemann Zahabi, Marcel. So interesting fight here in the UFC bantamweight division. I just love this division, Marcel. Like it's so good. For the longest time, guys, I thought lightweight was the best, but lately I've been thinking bantamweight's the best division. Like, I just think it's so stacked, Marcel. There's so many guys. Like, these guys are both really good fighters, not even close to being ranked, So, the odds for this one, Turcios is favored. Marcel, pretty Ricky, minus 185. The Canadian, Aiemann Zahabi, plus 160. So you're going to go against the Canadian here, Marcel, and take the Turcios, the Ultimate Fighter winner?
I'll let you have the honors. You go first in this one.
I mean, I really like him in this fight. I got to be honest with you. I like Turcios in this fight, Marcel. Zahabi's a good fighter. I think he's proven that. He's got some nice wins in the UFC. That last win was really nice against Draco Rodriguez, that brutal knockout. I don't think a lot of people saw it coming, honestly. I didn't see it coming. But Marcel, he's older. He's older than me. I mean, he's 34. He's turning 35 this year. He's getting up there. He barely fights, Marcel. He's fought once in the last 3 years. Turcios, I know he's also coming off the layoff for a year, but I mean, the guy is a good fighter. We saw the Ultimate Fighter. We saw that against Brady Highstand, he's a really good prospect. I don't know where that guy is, by the way, but he's a very good prospect. And that was a nice win, Marcel. I just think he's going to be tough to finish, right? So it's going to probably go the distance. I just think overall, he's going to just have more volume. He's going to kind of overwhelm Zahabi at times and win on points. So I like Turcios here and probably by decision, Marcel. I do like him in this fight. Minus 185 is a decent line, too, to be honest with you. I think he wins the fight. What do you think?
Yeah, Zahabi surprised me many times, and maybe he surprises me again. But I also feel like Turcios should be able to win the fight. Do I think we see a finish from Turcios? I think we have more likely have to see a finish from Zahabi if there is a finish, Yeah. But that's why I'm going with the decision for Ricky. I think he can win this fight, unless Zahabi touches him with something you don't expect. But overall, I would go with Turcios here.
I always pick against Turcios. Hey, what's up, Daniel? But I'm usually wrong. Favors Zahabi. Seems to be hitting hard for the weight class. He does hit hard, but I just the lack of activity makes me kind of just hesitant to pick him, Marcel. He barely fights. Like, he's good though, and obviously his brother Faraz Zahabi trains. The trainer tries to train me up here in Canada. Great trainer, so he's well trained. There's no doubt about it. I just think again, Marcel. He's 34. He barely fights. I'm taking the younger guy. Marcel Turcios is 29 years old. He's in his prime, I think. All right, last fight on the prelims, Marcel. We have Cynthia Calvillo against Nina Nunes. I don't understand why this is the featured prelim. I don't get it. I guess because Nina Nunes the last name, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me. But right now we have minus 150 on Calvillo, plus 130 on Nunes. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the odds. I know Calvillo lost the last 3 fights, but it was against good competition, and to look at Nunes, she also didn't look great, in her last fight. She lost the last 2 fights, but also against good competition, Dern and Suarez, But I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Nina Nunes. I always thought she was like okay in the women's division, but I never see her as a top girl or whatever. For Calvillo, she's like in between top middle. So sometimes she looks really good, and sometimes I'm like, nah. Not really. She lost the last 3 fights. Still think she's more talented than Nina, So I feel like Calvillo can win this fight. Maybe put in some takedowns, try to wrestle a little bit more, getting a decision win.
I want to mention this fight's a flyweight too. Nina is moving up in weight, so that's interesting. Marcel, I don't know if you noticed that. It is up at 125. I mean, I think it's a really close fight too. I mean, for me, it's like I'd like to bet against both these girls if I could, but they're fighting each other, so I can't. Calvillo, I think, has looked terrible the last couple of fights. Marcel just got destroyed by Andrea Lee. Like, it was like a spirit-breaking loss. Like, she got smashed in that fight. Losing to Andrade, there's no shame in that, even Chikagian. But the way she lost to Lee is just really bad. In my opinion, it's a bad look. I know Nunes also coming off the loss to Mackenzie Dern getting submitted. And that was her first fight in 3 years. But, overall, she's good takedown defense throughout her career, 76%. And she's fought some good wrestlers. Her striking, I think, is actually better on the feet, too. She's a little bit older here. They're actually crazy, Marcel. They're both older than me, which is crazy. 87 for Calvillo, 85 for Nunes. I always look at that. I'm like, is someone older or younger than me? But I think it's a competitive fight, Marcel. But once again, these low-level women's fights, I guess I'm leaning towards the dog a little bit. So I think we have an opposite pick here. I think Nunes can keep it on the feet, outstrike Calvillo, and win decision. But, it's really hard to have faith in either of these girls. But, yeah, I'm going to lean towards Nina Nunes by decision to win this fight, Marcel. That's my pick in this one. Now we get to the main card, guys. So let's get to this one. We've got Michael Johnson taking on Jamie Mullarkey to open up the main card here, Marcel. And the odds for this one, Jamie Mullarkey is favored quite heavily, actually, Marcel. Minus 245, plus 205 on Michael Johnson. So what are you thinking, Mullarkey or MJ? Who wins the fight?
The thing is with Michael Johnson, which Michael Johnson shows up. If the focus and good Michael Johnson shows up, he destroys Mullarkey, in my opinion. If he doesn't show up, Mullarkey wins the fight because Mullarkey always shows up, in my opinion. That's the difficulty here. Can go either way. But I think Michael Johnson got some new fuel on the rim after that last win over Alan Patrick. And I think he wins. I think he can get something together this time. I think he looks solid against Alan Patrick. Mullarkey, good fighter, don't get me wrong, but I'm favoring Johnson. I think Johnson gets another stoppage, TKO, second round.
Yeah, Johnson opened as the favorite, minus 150. The lines flipped completely. Now Mullarkey's basically minus 250. This is a tricky fight, man. I got to be honest with you, Marcel, because I was leaning towards Johnson, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, he looked great against Alan Patrick, but Alan Patrick sucks. Like, he's old and he's terrible. And before that, Marcel, like he was struggling against Clay Guida, struggling against Stevie Ray. Like he's a good striker, Marcel, but like Mullarkey's decent on the feet too, and he's a better grinder. This is a really hard fight to call. I think the betting value is probably on Michael Johnson here, but I don't know if I can straight up pick him. I've been thinking about this one a lot. I'm really having a hard time with this one, guys. I think it's competitive, but ultimately, I guess I'm going to lean towards Mullarkey to edge it out on points. He is significantly younger, 8 years younger. I mean, that's something I can't ignore. And again, Johnson, he did look great against Alan Patrick, but I liked him in that fight, but I just don't know how much I can take away from that. And, again, Mullarkey, Marcel, yeah, he lost to Jalen Turner, but so what? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm thinking he can grind this one out, but it's competitive for sure. And if this went either way, it wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's a total pass. I'm staying away from it. I do think it's probably dogger pass for a bet, but I'll lean towards Mullarkey just for a straight pick in this fight. That Jalen Locks looked great on Mullarkey. I mean, he looked good in that first round, man. He looked really good, So I don't know if I'm not going to play him, though, George. I'm going to stay away, but I'm going to slightly pick him. He's a lot younger. I don't blame you at all, though, Marcel, for picking Johnson, because like I said, that was my lean, but really looked at this one close and looking the other way now, We did say she'll grapple a little bit. I think, we did say she can grapple. I know that her takedown defense is not great, but I don't know why you're talking shit, dude. I mean, if you think you have a better prediction, that's fine. It's cool. It's just our opinion anyways. You know what I mean? What does it matter, man? Make your own decision. You know what I mean? We're giving our best prediction, I guess, on the fight. If you like Antonina, go lay the minus 175 on her and then come back next weekend and tell us we were wrong about it. But I'm taking Courtney Casey. Let's go to the next fight here. Marcel, Jared Vanderaa against Chase Sherman here. And the heavyweight division. This fight should obviously not be on the main card. Let's be honest here. Right now, Vanderaa minus 175, Sherman plus 155. What do you think, Marcel? Low-level heavyweight fights. What's your thoughts?
Vanderaa, Ezekiel choke. Next, I don't know, man. Vanderaa is going to win. Not going to spend any more on this fight. Shouldn't be on the main card.
Wow, that's a quick breakdown. I mean, I guess I'll go a little bit longer than that.
You do that.
Yeah. Loser leaves town, 100%. Marcel, loser's getting cut from this fight. They're both not great fighters, obviously. Vanderaa, you know what, Marcel? I think he's fought really tough competition, though. Like, lost to Oleinik, Arlovsky, Romanov, Spivak. Like, really, like, looking back, like, which fights of those should he win? You know what I mean? Like, I guess the Oleinik fight, which I didn't think he was going to win, but, it's not like it's a bad loss by any means. The guy's an absolute monster. Then with Sherman, you have a guy, again, he lost to Romanov. There's no shame in that, but, like, some of the losses he's had, Marcel, like the Collier fight getting washed in a minute, Shamil washing him, Porter just overwhelming him, Arlovsky overwhelming him. I mean, I just find it hard to pick this guy. He's 3-8 in the UFC, Marcel. 3-9 in the UFC. Like, how could you pick this guy? You can't. So I got Jared Vanderaa, but again, it's such a low-level fight, Marcel, that, it's one Sherman could win, but I would lean towards Vanderaa. What do you think, Marcel? A TKO or a decision? What were you saying?
I'm probably going with it. Let's say I hope I go with a TKO. Let's hope it's not a decision. So a TKO.
Yeah, it could go either way, but I'm thinking probably a knockout too. The more I think about it, just like I think you just kind of like overwhelm him a little bit with volume or something like that, and maybe get him on. You might get him on the ground and like ground and pound him, Marcel. Maybe that's the way to go because it seems like Collier's ground or what's his name, Sherman's ground game is just completely non-existent at this point. So yeah, that's my pick in this one. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. We have Jamie Pickett against Dennis Tiuliulin in the UFC middleweight division. Tiuliulin, I believe, taking the fight on short notice, Marcel, for Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Yeah. Odds for this one, Marcel. Pickett's favored, minus 180, Tiuliulin plus 150. So what do you think?
Another fight that shouldn't be on the main card. That's what I think. Jamie Pickett. He lost his last fight against Carl Dawkins, and we both expected that pretty much. Before that, had a good win against Joseph Holmes, and that Laureano Staropoli fight. I never want to see that again. Dennis Tiuliulin, he had that fight against Aliaskhab Khizriev in his UFC debut. Didn't look really bad in that fight, but Aliaskhab managed to win the second round with a rear naked choke. He's actually, I think Tiuliulin is a training partner of Sean Strickland, right, at the Extreme Couture. This is also a really weird fight, I'm 50-50 on this one, to be really honest. Man, I can go either way. I'm not convinced with Jamie Pickett, and I'm also not convinced with Dennis Tiuliulin. Let's say for now I'm going with decision win for Jamie Pickett, but it still can change. I'm not made up my mind yet.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call too. I really think this one can go either way, honestly, Marcel. The thing is, like, I just don't like Jamie Pickett much in the UFC. I think I've picked against him in all his fights. Now, he's burned me a couple times, obviously. He had some decent wins, but, like, he's not that good, Marcel. You know what I mean? Like, he really isn't. But, like, Tiuliulin taking a short notice, I feel like the conditioning might be an issue for him in this fight. He can't get him out of there in the first round, which is a possibility because the guy hits really hard. You know, Marcel, he's a very good power puncher for sure. I mean, the guy's fun to watch. There's no doubt about it. But takedown defense is really bad. Pickett can mix it up, maybe he can get him down a little bit. And, again, I think Pickett will have the better cardio. So, if you take Tiuliulin, you might as well take him by knockout or maybe even in the first round because I don't see him winning any other way, really. I don't think he'll win a decision here. I think, again, I would never bet on Jamie Pickett. Honestly, Marcel, I could never do it, but I'm leaning towards him slightly to win a decision here. But I definitely think Tiuliulin has a puncher's chance to win the fight. I definitely think so. So, Get some comments here. Pickett has a good holding game, struggles against accurate strikers. Take a fly on Dennis. He could win. He's a good power puncher. There's no doubt about it. This is a weird fight, man. It shouldn't be in the main card. Which fights would you promote the main card? Oh, we both said the first fight, Ronnie Lawrence and Saidyokub. Alex likes Saidyokub. He could win. He could win for sure. I mean, the guy's really good. All right, Marcel, we'll go to the last couple of fights here. We have Douglas Silva Andrade against Said Nurmagomedov in the UFC bantamweight division, which is, again, an amazing division. These guys aren't even ranked, Marcel, and, like, they're so good. So, I mean, this fight is great. Right now we have Said Nurmagomedov. No relation to Khabib, by the way, Marcel. Everyone kind of thinks that. He is favored minus 240. Douglas Silva Andrade plus 200. So what do you think?
Man, Said Nurmagomedov has looked amazing in his last two fights, right, in the UFC, against Mark Striegel and against Cody Stamann. Definitely against Cody Stamann. Big win back then. Got one loss in the UFC against Leone Barcelos, which was still a good fight, but he lost that one. If you look at Douglas Silva, the Andrade, the thing is, man, I like him a lot, but he's not really consistent, with his fight. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he doesn't. And in the last fight against Morozov, he was almost finished in the first round. He got 10-8 in the first round. And then the second round, he completely turned around. He 10-8 pretty much Morozov and finished him, actually. So, the thing is, if he fights like that against Said Nurmagomedov, he's probably done in the first round. If he fights like that, as he did against Morozov. I'm favoring Said here. I think he wins the fight. I think it's a big win for him if he wins here because Douglas Silva Andrade is super tough, but too inconsistent to me. I'm thinking Said. I think he finishes again first round, TKO.
Yeah, this is a good fight. Both guys are really good. Douglas Silva Andrade, man, and that last fight was just crazy. Like getting dropped and then coming back and defeating Morozov. That's very impressive. Guy's a huge power puncher. He's really good. He's fought some good competition too. He's only lost to like really good fighters. Said very dangerous everywhere as well. Very good fighter. Coming off a great win. I think both guys are really good, but Said, significantly younger here. He is 7 years younger. Height and reach advantage here as well. Just a little bit fresher as well, in my opinion. So he's definitely the pick, Marcel. I do like him quite a bit in this fight. I think he gets the job done. I think it'll be competitive, though. I could see it going the distance, but I'm definitely leaning towards Said Nurmagomedov, just like all of us are. And, he definitely wins the fight, in my opinion. Said is due for a broker performance value at minus 300. I think he wins, too. So maybe. I mean, if you like him, George, bet on him. You know what I mean? I think he wins. I want to see Nurmagomedov versus Nurmagomedov. I mean, it'd be a good fight if we ever see it. It'd be hilarious, but it'd be a good fight. I think Umar ranks has a relationship with Khabib. I think he's good too. I think Umar beating Nunes, who's a good fighter, is a good win. All right, let's get to the next couple of fights here, guys. We have Kyle Barallo, Marcel, in the co-main event here against Armen Petrosian. I love this fight, Marcel. It's such a good fight. Both guys are such good prospects in middleweight, in my opinion. Right now we have Kyle Barallo. He is favored minus 170. Armen Petrosian plus 150. What do you think, man?
I think Caio Borralho is going to grapple here, and I like Caio Borralho. He looks like the love baby of Vitor Belfort and Paulo Costa. I think he's a really good fighter. I really liked him from the moment I saw him in the Contender Series when he beat Aaron Jeffrey. He didn't get the contract after that. 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, he came back weight class heavier, got the finish, and got the contract. Last time, Umar Gatsiev completely dominated him on the ground, then got that weird-ass knee, which was to a downed opponent, went to a technical decision, still got the win. Petrosian, good win against Kolev in the Contender Series, very spectacular, and actually before that he was at Fight Nice Global. I think he did well there, and then his last fight against Gregory Rodriguez, he won the fight. I still think Rodriguez should have won. I had him 29-28, but Petrosian got it. It was a close fight nonetheless. Yeah, I'm favoring Borrello here, man. I think Borrello has more ways to win. He's a good stand-up fighter, but his ground game is very good as well. I think Petrosian is really based on the stand-up, not really a great ground fighter. I'm going with Caio here, man. I think he even submits him probably in the first or second round.
Yeah, I think this is obviously a great fight as well, Marcel. I like both guys a lot. I think they're just really both obviously fantastic strikers. Petrosian's a fantastic striker. I think they're both fantastic fighters. Borrello was a little bit more well-rounded, though, like you said, right, with the grappling. I think he looked phenomenal in his last fight against Gadzi, which I really liked in that fight. You know, I'll say this, though. I mean, Petrosian's really good on the feet, and not only that, Marcel, but, like, against Gregory Rodriguez, like, he did get taken down a few times, but got back up pretty good and, you know, won the decision against the guy who's really good in Gregory Rodriguez. Obviously, that guy's phenomenal. So, I think
did you think he won the fight?
I'm not sure. I mean, listen, I bet on him in that fight. I wasn't sure the judge would say. The stats indicate he should have won. I know the stats will tell the story.
I picked him as well, but I didn't think he won.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, right? And I do think in the grappling exchanges, he showed some flaws, right? So I'm leaning towards Borrello, but I'm not as confident as you. I was way more confident in Borrello against Nurmagomedov. That fight I thought was a great fight for him. But this one, I'm going to lean towards his way more so. I'm impressed by this guy. He's very good. But again, there's some things about this fight that made me kind of hesitant to like go all in on this guy. But I'll lean towards Borrello to win the fight. He's really good. I mean, I like the guy. I like both of them, Marcel. I think they're both really good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the main event now, Marcel. Rafael Fiziev versus Rafael dos Anjos in the Battle of the Rafaels. The winner will be the best Rafael, I believe, in the UFC, unless I'm forgetting someone. Minus 210 for Fiziev, plus 175 for dos Anjos. What do you think, man?
Yeah, finally we're getting this fight, right? It's been canceled 2 times. Now it's going to happen, hopefully. Great fight. Rafael dos Anjos, yeah, what can we say about him? Former champion. Should he be in the UFC Hall of Fame next? I think he should. Daniel Cormier doesn't think so. But, yeah, he won his last fight against Renato Moicano. Really looked good in that fight. Unless the 5th round, Moicano looked a little bit better. Then was actually crazy because dos Anjos was dominating the fight. If you look at Fiziev, listen, man, despite his knockout debut loss against Magomed Mustafayev, dude has been on fire, you know. The Diakese fight where he had like that Matrix kind of when Diakese tried to knock his head off with a kick. The Bobby Green one was a good one, although he kind of gasses in the 3rd round, but still he won. He defeated Moicano with a stoppage. He stopped Brad Riddell. So for me, it's like this guy is trying to get up in the division. And dos Anjos, he's still solid, don't get me wrong, but he's getting older, you know. He will have the advantage with going to a 5th round, you know, but still, I think Fiziev finishes him, dude. I think Fiziev is nasty. I think he finishes him with a knockout in the 2nd round.
Jeez, wow. I'm going to pick Fiziev too, but I think it'll be more competitive, Marcel. Dos Anjos is a beast, man. I mean, he looked really good in his last fight too against Moicano. I know he took it on short notice or whatever, but that was impressive. Like the way he pretty much dominated that guy, and he's a good fighter, you know. He's obviously got a lot of experience in the championship fights, like he said, 5 rounds, tons of times. He's just a great fighter, Marcel. I'm a big fan of both guys here. I'm leaning towards Fiziev, but I think decision, Marcel. I think it'll be competitive. I think he'll probably ultimately be the more effective striker on the feet. When I see the fight mostly playing on the feet in this fight because he has good wrestling Fiziev, very good takedown defense. So I think he'll stay on the feet, be a very competitive fight. But I'm definitely going with Rafael Fiziev, and I'm leaning towards a decision on this one. So already have a decision. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's his path to victory, right? I think most of his wins are by decision. So looking at the props right now, Fiziev decision plus 150, Marcel inside the distance plus 220. So there you go, Marcel. And then dos Anjos by decision plus 385. I don't see RDA winning inside the distance. I don't think that would happen. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyways, anything else you want to talk about this card, Marcel? Was there any other fights on this card? I guess we went through it pretty quick, I guess. But
yeah, maybe it's fun to pick who we think will be fight of the night.
Sure. That's a good question. I mean, let's be honest. They usually tend to go with the main card fights for the bonuses. I guess I would lean towards the main event if I had to pick one. What do you think?
Yeah, it would be the main event for me, or the first prelim, but the first prelim is likely not going to get it. So main event, yeah.
And then for the bonus, the performance bonuses, and that's another tough one to call. I definitely, again, they lead towards the main card guys. Maybe the heavyweights because someone might get a finish, but I think it'll be sloppy too. So I don't know. That's tough to call, honestly, Marcel, because I see a lot of fights going the distance on this card, to be honest with you. But it never plays out like that, right? It never does.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens there. I think that's tough to call, but I think for fight night, I would lean towards the main event slightly. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Marcel? Oh, here, someone, Steve has a question. Most confident early pick of the night. Most confident pick on the card? It's a good question. Let me just take a look at it one more time. Well, Onama was, but he's off the card now. I guess it would probably be Saeed for me. What do you think?
Let me think. Yeah, Saeed or Kayo for me.
Oh, really, Kyle? Yeah, I guess you're a little bit more confident than I am. Again, I'm picking him to win the fight, but I think Armin's very good too, so it'd be interesting. Was there any other questions? I saw a couple questions here. George had a question. Our bonuses for every finish now the norm. I don't know if it's every finish because Miller didn't get one, and last week they didn't give it to the prelim guys, but they're giving out more bonuses, which is good, Marcel, right? It seems like it anyways. Last month, I'm not sure what happened, why it changed, but it's good. Aspinall vs. Blades, most anticipated main event of July. It's a great fight. Can't wait to talk about that card. It's going to be a really good day. The crazy thing about that card is I'll be going to watching that card. It's in the morning here, right, Marcel? Because it's in England. And then I'm going to a concert that night and seeing Rage Against the Machine. So it's going to be a really good night.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like I wasn't sure. I'm like, man, I'm going to miss this card because I'm seeing the concert. But no.
You have two back-to-back early cards, right? Long Island and London.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. for that one, yeah. Wherever the main event gets Gaethje. Maybe. Gaethje... Is he injured? I think he said he's injured or something. I can't remember. Someone did an interview with him the other day, but I don't know what's going on. I think maybe there's an injury. I can't remember for sure. Podcast about Dana White Contender Series. We'll just talk about it during like the weeks. It starts on July 26th. So like during that, like the week before, we'll give her a quick thoughts on the fights, but not a dedicated podcast. Unless there's like an off week from the UFC where we have like more chance to talk about it, we won't do that.
The off week is August 27th, I think.
Yeah. Justin's getting. Yeah, I told you, Marcel. He has had an injury, the nose surgery, so he's gonna be out for a little while with that. I saw that interview the other day. I forgot what it was. Thanks, George. Any thoughts on props to look at? There's not a lot of props out right now, but I was just looking at a couple. Like Turcios by decision was plus 155. We both kind of favored that. Vanderaa by knockout is plus 155. Marcel, that's not bad because again, heavyweight fight. I think it probably ends. Actually, that fight going under 2.5 is minus 140. I'm surprised by that. It's heavyweights. They're low-level heavyweights, too. Let's see what else I could think of. Calvillo Nunes going the distance is only minus 190. That seems low, too. I think that fight goes the distance. Lawrence by decision. That was another one we mentioned, plus 155. It's kind of early. There's still, like, not a ton of props up, but those are some that I guess we're looking at. Anything else, Marcel, that you were thinking about?
No, not really.
Okay, fair enough. I think there was another question here somewhere. I can't remember what it was. Oh, here. Any idea where Chandler and Poirier got at it last night? I mean, I guess they're trying to make the fight. I mean, it'd be a good fight, right? I'd watch that fight. You want to see that one, Marcel?
Yeah, and we watch every fight, Adam. So
of course, I know. We do. We watch them all. All right. Anyways, I think that's it for today's podcast, guys. I mean, we went through it a little bit quickly, but that's okay because it's not the best card, let's be completely honest. Marcel, I want you to plug your stuff one more time, and we'll get out of here, okay?
Big Marcel24 on Twitter and Instagram, and my articles on Eurosport.nl.
I'm on Twitter at Adam Martin. Podcasts is at MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. Like, share, subscribe, guys, as always. You can also download the podcast. It's on like iTunes, Spotify, all those places. Also available at MiamiNews.com and Bookies.com. I'll be back next Sunday with Marcel. I'll be recapping UFC Vegas 58 and then previewing UFC Long Island. It's a busy month in July, Marcel. 5 cards this month. So we saw the first one. Now we have 4 more. Sorry, did you put your hand up, Marcel? You have something?
Yeah, man. Give the guy John Baser ask a question.
Yes, I was going to get that one. Yeah, John. Hey, John. Sorry about this. I missed the comment earlier. Cedric Duambe. Is this the guy that?
He is the former Glory welterweight champion, and he's now in MMA. And he said earlier, I think I read that he has a fight on July 9th, and if he wins the fight, he will be fighting at UFC Paris. So
okay, cool. That sounds good. That's good. I mean, we'll see what fights get added to that card. Steve, appreciate it, man. George, appreciate it, guys. All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk to you guys next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, for the next podcast. Peace.